Hello, my name is Sekit, and we're in this. Those are my horses. Let's go somewhere else. We're in my second Road to the Worrier 4 world here. And before I do anything else, I want to thank Eclipsonaut for pointing out that my last video borked. Unfortunately, I deleted the video, not realizing that it would also delete your comment from my notifications, so I found myself unable to give you so much as a thumbs up, and I'm sorry about that, but I do appreciate it. What happened is something that kind of happens a lot when I'm in the development phase, and it's something to do with the way I have OBS set up, which OBS is the free software I use to record, if you're not familiar. It's a great program, but there's something at least about the way that I have it set up that when Minecraft crashes, and even if it's not recording, if OBS is just open, it will stay on the crashed Minecraft screen and will ignore any new Minecraft processes until such a time as I close OBS and restart it. And this, what usually happens, I actually checked the video and I thought it hadn't happened, but it did. This time, for the first time I have seen, it got stuck on a gameplay screen. Usually it gets stuck on like this screen, and it's like 20 minutes of this while I think I'm doing something, but instead it was it was like this sort of screen, just with my mouse moving around for 20 minutes, so that was fantastic. And I want to thank Eclipsonaut for being nice enough to point it out. I do appreciate that. So one of the things I've been working on is another basement. And I'll show it to you in a second here. But I would like at least a stack of andesite alloy, probably quite a bit more. We've got this cut dripstone from Create up top, on the top layer there, and then we have some ochrum, which I'm still filling in. These are the industrial wood planks that we used in the last world, but made in the architect's cutter into panels. That works just fine. And we have lights from Simply Light up there. We have a combination of these rusty iron plates from Quark and these really nice corrugated scrap sheets from Blocks You Need. There's a number of corrugate that it's kind of expensive, but you know, you can get there eventually. It's one block for 5 ingots, but we're gonna do the floor in andesite casing. You just need stripped wood and that andesite alloy that we made upstairs there. This is a component in a lot of Create crafting recipes, but it also makes a really nice connected texture that I like, and the edges of it match reasonably well with the rusty iron plate. It really brings the room together. Now, similar to the last world, I have a pump with another ender tank keyed to all orange. And the reason I can show this in Jade from this far away is the block reach on these boots, which is incredible. But we're starting to get some lava power down there. I'm going to get at least the basics of a refined storage system going, and we can get caught back up to where we were. I thought I'd go ahead and deal with the Ender Dragon. The nearest stronghold is down here somewhere, which is going to take us into some dangerous territory. We haven't fought any dragons in this world yet. We may find out how that goes with the gear we have right this second. Okay, we did not run into any dragons. Aha! Alright, we made it. I've been cleaning up the inside of the cabin here. We got a little bit of the Mr. Crayfish stuff again. We need some more quartz for a bathtub. We still gotta get some stuff on the walls. But it's looking a little bit less of a mess in here. We're gonna end up putting a bar down here. Maybe even up against this wall. I don't know. And then down here, we added some more drawers. We got the whirly sprig set up outside. We got our bees back. They're all in here. And then we move the villagers down here. The next thing I want to get going is the vinery and brewery and all that stuff again. We gotta set up someplace to do that. Probably outside. Okay, we're a little behind on videos. Our darling cat Aloysius has been ill with the constipation, so I have been giving her medication every 6 hours for the past week. She's doing much better. I'll spare you the gory details, but safe to say the matter is past. Now, I have been working on writing some quests. I did finish the quote potions unquote chapter, so we're moving along there. Hope to get another version of the pack out this weekend. If we can make a lot of progress with quests and take a good second look at some of the cyclic recipes and some of the other tech mods, we'll probably be ready to put 0.4 out, but we shall see. Okay, I just uploaded 0.3.3 to Curse. It should be available soon. I did a lot of messing with dough. Bread is now gonna involve yeast, because we can. And there's some more minor changes. Now there have been a couple of updates, one of which has been removed from CurseForge because the, whatever it was, there was some version of Mine Colonies it was using that also got removed from CurseForge, and everything that used that version of Mine Colonies, including my, 0.3.3, got removed. So 0.3.4 is out. All the mods are updated, in addition to a bunch of bread and dough changes. There are a couple yellow errors when you start the world. Don't panic. It just means some things are gonna be pretty cheap right now. Let's figure out, how many Lily of the Valley do we have? That's fine. I want to start making a big house. Like this little cabin and all this is fun and all, but it's time to get serious. So we're gonna get ready to make a whole ton. Well, that's the concrete powder. We're gonna make a whole ton of white concrete and a bunch of cyan terracotta and all kinds of things, and we're gonna go bonkers. Now we're gonna start off with a nice big dome, and this is a circle. It's gonna define it. Now we'll go back to the dome in the colony, but right now I'm in the test world, and I've been in here so long that it is winter. I have been working on cyclic, folks, and some other things. One thing I've been working on is the lanterns and some other things from blocks you need, because the more I looked, the more I was dissatisfied. As it stood, the kerosene lanterns, the recipes are okay, but they use the tar from blocks you need, which you make in a weird way and you don't use for anything else. So now you're going to use the tar and some kind of matching metal and creosote to make these lanterns. And we got the steel and the brass. Now, the lanterns aren't that big a deal. The reason I bring them up is because of cyclic. Now, cyclic is one of my favorite mods. It adds a truly wild number of mechanics and items and different things. There's enchantments, there's, stat boosts, all this different stuff that it does. Well, what it doesn't do much of, although it does do some, is kind of like general crafting mechanics. Like there are, there's the crystallized obsidian that you make in the solidification chamber, and there's the amber, and you need some of the liquids that you make in the melting chamber, but it doesn't have like rods or plates or anything like that. And a lot of the recipes, when you compare them to other mods in the pack, are kind of all over the place. Like, we'll take the solidification chamber, for instance. Compared to, say, something from thermal, this is not the most interesting recipe. The compressed cobblestone especially. Like, if we can make a machine with a center that's just like stone and cobblestone, then what are we doing with the machine frames from thermal to make those machines? So it's stuff like that, and it's not something that's wrong with cyclic. Like, cyclic is something that you can, use all by itself, or just all by itself with JI, and you've suddenly got all kinds of mechanics to play with. It mostly uses vanilla ingredients, and that's fine as far as it goes, but one of the things that you end up running into is a devaluing. Like, we have waystones in the pack, right? I love waystones. I think they're cool. You find them out in the world. You zip around from place to place. Now, cyclic adds all kinds of teleportation mechanics that on their own might devalue the waystone, like, a spawner seek. Well, that's a bad example, but, the teleportation book, or the ender book. This, you can set locations and, scroll through them in the book page to page, teleport to them. It's pretty good. But so that it does not devalue the waystone and just becomes the obvious choice, you now make it with the basic ingredient of the waystones as well. And we're going to see that mirrored throughout the cyclic recipe changes. The two other considerations are integration. We want stuff to be integrated. And we want the recipes to be comprehensible. Like, I want the skills that somebody who's never played a Minecraft mod pack before, like the skills they learn in a tech mod, to be generally applicable across them. So, when we're going to make our block rotator, for instance, it's not going to devalue the turntable from create. It's going to use it. And it's not just going to be like some wood and a block of redstone. It's going to be a combination of device and machine. It's going to have the redstone servo to indicate that it doesn't need power, but will take, redstone signals, and it's kind of a machine, so it's built on a frame. It's got some gears. And we're going to be doing the same stuff to these other machines. Like, this is a great recipe if all you've got is cyclic and vanilla, but that's not what we have here, so we want to change it. Or like the boomerangs is another good example. Now, the quark picarang is wonderful. These three, as they stood, would devalue it, but now they use the same ingredient, the heart of diamond, that the quark picarang uses. So as you go through all of the changed recipes, and they will almost all be changed. Here's another example, gold lanterns. You talked about lanterns before. So to make these rhyme with the other lanterns in the pack, except the vanilla lantern, we're going to leave that as is, because that's used for mine colonies early on in some builds, and I don't want to make that, I don't want to make you have to figure out how to get tar and creosote to get past level 2 in mine colonies. That might not be fun for someone. We got the gold lantern with a similar recipe, but there's haunted versions of the cyclic gold and copper. Now, the copper lantern from blocks you need is just, I think it's just a nicer block. So I've disabled this copper lantern entirely. But we're still going to have the haunted versions, call them the soul lanterns. We'll be able to take a copper kerosene and haunt it, and turn it into a copper soul lantern. The same way we'll be able to haunt a gold lantern from cyclic to turn it into the soul lantern with gold from cyclic. So we're going to be doing as much of this as possible. The mechanics aren't complicated, but Well, like, let's take our Void Charm here. Like, these aren't complicated. But you might not see these, and it's more fun than just like a couple of bone blocks and some feathers and an amber. It shows you more in the pack. That's the other consideration with integration, is we want to take people to mods that they might not have messed with yet in their playthrough or at all, and signpost something relatively simple. Like a Glyph of Conjure Mage block. Okay, a Scribe's Table. And we'll need what? Okay, that's how you make the Scribe's Table. When you look in the Ars Nouveau chat, that kind of thing. Now, some of the things in Cyclic that aren't balanced with other things, there's a lot of that. The Materials Generator was a good example. Like the Cyclic version of the Stirling Generator, the Combustion Generator. This can't compete with a fully upgraded Stirling Generator from Thermo. But nothing competes with the Material Generator from Cyclic. Like, we can use this thing, a gas tier will get you 250,000 RRF. This peat, which is a bit of an adventure on its own, that's a solid 1,000,000. Shulker shells, which you can just farm with a Drigme, are 1,000,000 each. So, the Material Generator has to be an endgame item for the level of endgame that exists with this pack. We don't want to make it impossible, but okay, another star? Well, I know how to get one of those. This will get me a lot of energy. Maybe another star is worth doing. Now, it's not gonna, like when we have an array of like compression dynamos fully upgraded with abyssal integral components running off what I'm going to eventually do to hash oil in this pack. This might not compete, but that's a whole operation, whereas this is not. So that's kind of where I'm trying to put, anyway, the balance. Anyway, I hope that made sense and wasn't just rambling nonsense. If it was rambling nonsense, I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, we're back in the Let's Play world. Everything seems fine. We're in I just uploaded and downloaded yet another version of the pack. This is the You Like Them Apple update. And I will tell you the reason I called it that is because, like, these apples were kind of the first corner of the carpet to try to get up with Cyclic. It's always, I know I already talked about this, it's so hard to balance Cyclic. It's such a cool mod, and I always want to have it. But, we did over 100 Cyclic recipes alone to try to make it work and make sense so it doesn't seem weird or over or underpowered or clearly better or clearly worse than the other options that it adds, and to make the things in it that other mods don't duplicate, sensible, as sensible as mod of Minecraft can be. Alright, I just happened to walk outside. It's winter. And there in the distance is what I've been thinking about for at least the basis of a base. We're gonna get kind of weird with this. I want to have a big dome up here and like a giant tree in here with a bunch of birds, sort of like the aviary that we were doing in Garden of Overworldly Delights. And then over here I want a swimming pool, and then be like a little water feature here that goes way down. Maybe match it with a swimming pool, maybe not. But we're gonna do, like the swimming pool is gonna come out like this. There's gonna be a stairwell going up here so that there's an entrance to something going into the hill here. Underneath the swimming pool and the various corridors that I want to make here, we're going to have darker colors to kind of look like supports. I'm thinking like gray terracotta and like or cyan terracotta and like gray concrete, which is much darker. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to go for like supervillain, and I kind of feel like I'm coming out with Jetsons. So I am going to avoid the thrilling notepad content, but I'll tell you, if you look in the cube.js file in startup scripts for the thermal, and then in the scripts file for that entire hierarchy of recipes, you'll get a pretty good idea by looking at those text files what and how I've been doing what I've been doing. Let's take a look at some of the cyclic machines now that we're done. So instead of just like, some wood and some redstone, the redstone servo is going to be a theme with redstone power. And I'll go over here just a little bit. The redstone flux coil is going to be a theme with everything that needs power. And you can see exactly how I did that. You can see how I did the haunting stuff. It's all in Craft Tweaker. That's all you need. Cube.js, also very useful for things like thermal. If you look at the two of them, you might get the idea that I kind of just like doing what I already know how to do, and I'm sort of lazy about doing this, and you would be correct. But, like those script folders, nothing's obfuscated. Nothing should be hard to understand if you go and look at the Craft Tweaker and Cube.js docs online also. Like, it's the examples are, like my skill level is monkey see, monkey do. So if you look in there and you're trying to do this kind of thing, you may find some useful stuff. Okay, so the dome's done. I think. Let's check it out here. Yeah, okay. And then we're gonna have like a walkway up around here, and probably at least one balcony. And then I think you should be able to come out over here and access however this stairway is going to end up. Probably not quite like this. And then down here, we're going to have, I don't know, some weird room. Like, looking like that on the outside. We've got a swimming pool over here. And then you're going to be able to come out here into a hallway, and you'll be able to go down, take stairs down. There'll be some stuff over here, down here. I'm just gonna keep moving along. It's been a lot of concrete, but once we start getting some more color in here, it'll start looking pretty cool. Okay, so our colonists are upgrading buildings to level 4 now. I did have a little bit of trouble with the nether miner. I even tore down one and built another. They just weren't getting the cobblestone and the ladders. I hand delivered it, and she took right off. It was fine. So there's that. That seems to be an issue, but it does seem to have a solution. I am going to go ahead and cut this weirdly disjointed video off here. I had not realized how many days I have been recording this for. And we're implementing new software at work. It's an absolute utter whatever you like. It's an absolute utter that thing. So we've had several versions of the pack come out. Some of you may be interested in the contents of the scripts in the Cube.js folders, so be sure to check that out if you download the pack. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.